Good morning, 6th grade. Today we're going to take a look at section 9.4. That's chapter 9, section 4, measures of variation. So we'll start it right out the gate. What is a measure of variation? A measure of variation is a way to show how data is dispersed or how it's spread out. Okay, and in this section, there's lots of different measures of variation, but what we're going to worry about is the range, the quartiles, and the interquartile range. Okay, I'm going to pause the video for just a second. I'll be right back. Alright, so on page 414, you're going to see a key vocabulary box. So what I'd like you to do is add these words to your notebook. Okay, they're all located on page 414. It tells you where to find them in the book. So I'm on page 414 right now. So they're all on this page. Okay, so you're going to start with measure of variation. That's a measure that describes the distribution of a set. The range, we did start doing the range before break. Remember, that's the difference between the greatest value and the least value in a data set. So again, it's going to be very important for you to put the data in order from least to greatest. Okay, the next word you have is quartiles. That means the data is divided into 4 equal parts. And if you think about a quart, there's 4 quarts in a gallon. So quartile means 4, or 4 quarters in a year, or 4 quarters in a dollar. All right. So the first quartile is the median of the lower half of the data set. The third quartile is the median of the upper half of the data set. And then we have the interquartile range. And all that is the difference between these, the first and the third. Okay? Actually, it should be the difference between the third and the first. All right, I'm going to pause the video. You pause the video, get your vocabulary into your notebook, and we'll be back in just a few. All right, so now we're going to talk about how to find the interquartile range. So in this first example, we have a dot plot that shows the top speeds of 12 sports cars. We're going to find and interpret the interquartile range of the data. All right, so let's talk about this dot plot for just a second. Remember that each dot represents that number, how many times it's repeated. Okay, so when you're writing down your data, you're going to write 220, 230, 230, and so on. So what I'd like you to do now is pause the video, write the numbers underneath the dot plot in order, and we will be back together in just a second. Alright, so I have my data in order from least to greatest. So the first thing I want to do is find the median. So remember, that's going to be the number that's in the middle. So let's count how many pieces of data we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So you're going to want to check those dots on your dot plot to make sure you have the right amount of data as well. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right. So this is an even set of data. So that means it's going to be able to divide evenly into 2 groups. So we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so to find the median, remember, if we keep working our way in, we're going to end up with 2 numbers left in the middle. So remember, to find the median, you have to add those up and divide by 2. All right, so I'm going to add 245 plus 250. I'm going to divide by 2. So my median of this set of data would be 247 and 5/10. Okay, so you need to write that down, median. Alright, so now the next thing we're going to do is we are going to look for the median of quartile. We're going to look for quartile 1, which is the median of the first half of the data. Okay, so we've divided the data into two groups. We have found the median. Okay, so now we're going to find the median of the lower quartile, or quartile 1. Right, so if I cross off, so I end up with 2 in the middle again. So quartile 1 is going to be 230 plus 240 divided by 2. Okay, so if I do 230 plus 240, divide that by 2, that's going to give me 235. Right. So now we're going to look for quartile 3. Quartile 3 is also referred to as the upper quartile. So again, I'm going to cross off. So I end up with 250 plus 260 divided by 2, because I'm looking for those medians. So 250 plus 260 divided by 2. So that is going to be 255. Okay, and then our next step, we're going to find the interquartile range, the IQR. And to find that, I have quartile 3 minus quartile 1. And just fill in numbers. So quartile 3 is 255, quartile 1 is 235, so the interquartile range is 20. Okay, so notice that when you divide the data in half, you now have two groups. Okay, when you find that quartile 1, you've now divided the data into 3 groups. And then when you find that quartile 3, that's where we get that fourth one. So here's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that's where the quartile, the word quartile, that's where that comes from. All right, I'm going to pause the video, switch it over to your notebook because there's 2 more examples that we're going to copy down. All right, so here's 2 more examples. I'd like you to copy those down in your book. Okay, we're going to work through number 2 together, and then I'll give you the opportunity to do number 3. Okay, so pause the video, get the examples copied. Okay, make sure you're putting them in order from least to greatest. All right, I'll be right back. All right, so thanks to the world of video magic, I have picked up with my other sheet of paper. You'll notice that my data is in order from least to greatest. So the first thing we're going to do is find the median. So let's count the data. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is an odd number of data in our data set. So what that means is we're going to only have that one number in the middle. Okay, we always like when that happens. So you start crossing off till you get to the middle. Okay, so our median is 37. So that divides the data. So that means 50% of the data is lower than 37 and 50% of the data is higher than 37. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to find quartile 1. So quartile 1. Remember, that's the median of the first half of the data. So we're looking at these 4 pieces. So I'm going to cross off. Oh, I got 2 in the middle here. So I have to do 33 plus 34 and divide that by 2, which is going to give me 33 and 5/10. Right. Now I'm going to find quartile 3. And again, look, I've got 2 pieces in the middle, 2 pieces of data. So I'm going to have 40 plus 41 divided by 2, which is going to give me 40 and 5/10. Now we're going to look for the interquartile range. The interquartile range is quartile 3 minus quartile 1. So we'll have 40 and a half, or 40 and 5/10, minus 33 and 5/10, which is going to be 7. So the interquartile range is 7. Okay, again, I'd like to encourage you anytime you're able to pause the video, you're able to rewind the video and listen again. All right, so the median, there was only one number in the middle. So you find the median of the whole set of data. Then we find the median of everything below the median of this set of data, and then we find the median of the upper quartile, or quartile 3. All right, I'm going to pause the video and we'll take a look at number 3. All right, so again, my data is in order from least to greatest. Let's see how many pieces of data we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, so if I were to divide the data into 2 groups down the middle, and for looking for the median, I would have 4 over here and 4 over here. All right, so that's where my dividing line is. So if I were to cross these off and keep working my way in, so the median of this is going to be, of the whole set of data, would be 132 plus 135. Let's see. 132 plus 135 divided by 2. So the median is 133 and 5/10. Okay. So now we're going to look for quartile 1. And remember, quartile 1 is going to be the median of this half of the data. So again, I work my way to the middle. I end up with 127 and 129. So 127 plus 129 is 256. Divide that by 2. So quartile 1 is 128. Quartile 1 is 128. Alright, so the only thing we have left to find now is quartile 3. So if I cross my way off into the middle, I'm left with 138 and 140. So 138 and 140, divide that by 2, that's 139. You guys probably already thought that through, because you can think, what number's between 138 and 140? 139. Okay, so the last thing to find is your interquartile range. Okay, remember that's quartile 3 minus quartile 1. Right, so quartile 3 is 139 and quartile 1 is 128. So 139 minus 128 is 11. So the interquartile range is 11. Right? So one last thing I'd like to talk about, just to make sure or remember, jog your memories. Remember we talked about the range. We said the range was the greatest value minus the least value. So when you're looking at this set of data, the greatest value is 158. The least value is 106. So to find the range, you just subtract. Okay. Remember, to do the range though, you really should have the data in order from least to greatest. All right, I'm going to pause the video and put your notebook back. All right, so don't worry about the stuff up here that you see. You only need to worry about the assignments that I'll be posting on Schoology. The stuff up here will be for the next video. So on Schoology, I'd like you to answer 9.4, Measures of Variation Exit Ticket, and 9.4, Textbook Assignment. Okay? So I will see you guys on Schoology. Again, please feel free to call, text, email. Mrs. Biansko and I are here for you. Bye.